All right, so we're going to talk about colored pencils today, and we're not actually in Michael's. We're not in Hobby Lobby because we really don't need to be there. Because when you get there, the kind of colored pencils, there's a whole array of colored pencils, and they're all. I'm going to go ahead and say this: they're all probably the most expensive thing that you buy. Product for price. I mean, there are paint brushes that are pretty expensive. There are paints that are pretty expensive, but a lot of those you can kind of make sense why they're expensive. Colored pencils, there's quite really not really why it makes sense that some of these colored pencils cost so much. So really, what I want to do is talk about what kind of colored pencils that you can buy, and I'll probably point you to Amazon.com instead of to the other stores to pick up a set of colored pencils if you want to, or you can just use what you have at the house. I just want you to know what kind of product that you're looking at. Excuse me, that you're looking at, and it all boils down to the quality of the lead that's on the inside, and there are a whole ton. And I'm at my own house, and this is the colored pencil bin that we have at our house. You probably have one quite like this, and you probably have just an array of colored pencils like this. So there's colored pencils in this thing. My kids have some box sets of some more art quality pencils in here. The thing that I wanted to show you is, and actually kind of demonstrate to you why the pencils are so, they vary so widely. There is no industry standard with colored pencils like there is with graphites. Remember last time we talked about with a regular graphite pencil, there's the 2H and the 2B, and there's the 8H and the 8B, and it depends on how hard and soft it is. There's no indication on any of the colored pencils like that, so there's really no industry standard. And a lot of times, even in the company, in the pencils itself, sometimes you're going to get a good batch, and sometimes you're going to get a batch that's probably made during the graveyard shift. I mean, really, there's sometimes you're gonna get some quality pencils, and so I'm afraid to say that colored pencils are probably one of the most hard mediums to get a handle on in terms of you just think it's a pencil, and all of a sudden there's so many other characteristics with each individual colored pencil that sometimes it can throw you for a loop. And so I want to kind of look at the general things and general products that are out there so that you can be at least aware when you do purchase a pencil what you're looking at. And they go from cheap pencils that you find at free at the restaurant, and I call those elementary style map pencils. That remember when you were in elementary school and you had to color the maps and you use the colored pencils. Those are the kind of colored pencils I'm talking about. And I've got some of those kind of demonstrated here in my collection. They're kind of no name. There's no real name on there, and when you use them, it'll make sense. All the way down to these artist quality pencils, and you'll see the difference in the quality of the mark. And so Marshall's my cameraman, so I'm just going to go ahead and have Marshall go to the paper, and I'm just going to show you what's going to happen here. So, for example, what I have right now is a red, and this is probably the cheapest color pencil that you can get. This is I don't even know where it's from. It could have been from the restaurant. I don't know. But the lead is the graphite part is very hard, and you can almost hear it when I go across the paper. And the mark is very pale. This is supposed to be red, by the way, and it probably looks more orange to you on the screen. Can you hear that scratching across the paper? That's not really good when it comes to your drawing. Remember we talked about etching lines into the work. Sometimes you have to press so hard to get in there, to get the color on the paper that it begins to etch in there. So let me show you another red quality, and this is a Crazy Art pencil, and I would say probably a little farther up the scale from these. And let me just show you what these look like. And so you can't feel it like I can, but it's a little softer, but you can see that the quality of the color is still very pale, and it's still pretty hard. So the next thing that you may find in your own collection is a Rose Art. Rose Art is a popular brand at Walmart and at other places. A lot of people use Rose Art, but let me show you what this looks like against these other two brands here. Alright, so still a very pale color. It's a little softer. but you still could hear it coming across here. And then you're gonna step up, and believe it or not, the Crayola colors, the Crayola color pencils, they're still what I would call school pencils. They're not art quality, but they're pretty close, and you can kind of see and maybe even hear the difference in the color. You see that? Marshall, gets that pop on the screen? Yeah, and so it's a very soft color, very almost smooth, and it comes across really well on the paper. And then you go from there, and I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose one. This is now we're getting into the more art quality. This is a Koh-i-Noor Progresso. This is a red or light vermilion, so it's a little different than the reds here, but you'll see the mark here. This one, again, almost a buttery feel, and that's kind of weird description for a color pencil, but that's kind of what it feels like getting on there. So you see that, very easy to lay down on the paper, don't have to press too hard. Then we get into some of the industry standards, and this is going to be a Prismacolor, and this is an Eagle brand, and then there's Prismacolor Premier, and that's the top of the line, Prismacolor Premier. And I think that's all I have here. There's another brand that I do not have here, and it's actually probably the better pencil of all these, and it's a Faber-Castell Chromacolor, I think that's what it's called, but it's a Faber-Castell product. But let me show you what these Prismacolors are. Prismacolors are a popular art quality. You can hardly even hear it coming across that paper. So this is the Eagle brand Prismacolor. Here is the Premier. This is top quality, and I'll explain that in a second. I mean, I'm barely touching the paper with this. So, very stark differences. Can you see the difference here? So this is what I would call the elementary school map colors. In here is going to be your the kind of quality that you're going to get from a school type of pencil, and here is going to be your art quality pencils. There's another aspect to this, and I wanted to show you with a different color. Now, the other thing that you're looking for in a colored pencil is not just its ability, its color placement on the paper, but also its ability to blend. And so here I've got another Rose Art, and I kind of forgot which is which. I should have labeled them, but
Rose, like the second one.
The second one was Rose Art.
Thanks.
So,
Sure.
so you can hear that it's kind of scratching across the paper. But then I'm going to go ahead and blend it, and this is where you begin to see the difference right here. It doesn't blend well. It almost writes on top of the previous color. Let's go with this. Here's a no-name blue. Ready? All right, this is a different. This is supposed to be blue here. See how pale it is? I'm gonna blend it now, and it doesn't even come across. The Crayolas. This was a Crayola, wasn't it, Marshall? Ooh, that's sharp.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the Crayolas. All right, now you begin to see how it's beginning to, it blends a little bit better than the rest of them in here. Oh, Crazy Art. Here's a Crazy Art. I think this was Crazy Art here. Let's show you what happens with this one. So now we're looking at the ability for the color to blend in itself. And you see the big difference here. Does it show on the screen, Marshall? So the big difference here. And now we get into, I believe this one was the Koh-i-Noor red. So this is a Koh-i-Noor. Now there we go. See how dark that is? See there? Big difference when it comes to that. I mean, it's a stark difference than others, and you'll be much happier. This is one of those things where when you begin to buy your colored pencils, you're going to notice quality. This is Prismacolor. This is the one of the industry standards here.
I
And
think
you'll
that
s-
one's eagle, isn't it?
This is, yeah, that's an eagle. This one is a scholar, I guess. So messed that one up. That's okay. You get the idea.
That's a lot.
Here you go. All right, so now we're going to go Prismacolor Premier Red with Prismacolor Premier True Blue. And it just, the blendability. So those are the qualities that you're going to be looking for the colored pencils. It's blendability and what kind of color it lays down and how easy it lays the color down on the paper. These are going to be your elementary school map colors, and you're not going to be very happy with these when it comes to trying to make an art piece out of these kind of pencils. You're not going to be happy. So really, I would stay away from those, the Rose Arts, the things you get at Walmart. If your student is interested in colored pencils, it really is. Go ahead and show me. When your student is interested in colored pencils, I'm going to tell you, it's worth. This set here probably is about a $40 set. $40 set, right? But when you take into account what you just saw here, and that when your student is really interested in art, this $40 is worth it, because they're going to be able to produce work that is vibrant and has a pop to it. The other brand that I don't have, the Faber-Castell, they are an oil-based, and they're actually a little more powerful than even these Prismacolors. These Prismacolors are wax-based, and these other kind of map quality pencils, they're more of a clay base. So we've got a clay base, and that's why they were scratchy and hard. To the wax-based, meaning they're almost like a wax crayon coming across, and you could really feel the difference. And then you have the oil-based with the Faber-Castell, and it really does make a difference. So when you go online to Amazon or wherever, look for the deals. You even can find good deals at the craft stores like Michael's or at Hobby Lobby when they do the 40% off. And they do put these on sale, half off sometimes. So, but you have to pay attention when they do that. So, when it comes to colored pencils, the key factor is, come back over here, Marshall. The key factor is how well the color is placed on, how easy the color is placed on the paper, and then how well it blends. Do we have colored paper, Marshall, like black paper, real
I
quick?
think so.
Is it over here? So, another thing. Let me just show you what happens. This is black paper, and when you have a nice quality Prismacolor, here's a Prismacolor here, and here's my Koh-i-Noors. The other thing about a wax-based or an oil-based colored pencil is it actually draws or lays the color down really well on dark paper, and a lot of artists who use colored pencils will choose a colored paper and not just white. Here's Prismacolor in red. Do you see that? I mean, it lays down its color really well over. Even the blues will show up there. I just found it. Here's a EK. I have no idea where EK is from. Oh, I know what EK. EK is it's called a memory pencil because it's mostly designed for journal Bibles and all that kind of stuff. And so this is a very soft pencil, almost a pastel. So it'll take care. It's very delicate onto those Bible pages that you have, and so that's why this kind of pops out like that. But when you're using colored pencils, you're not just limited to the white paper. You can go colored paper and make some really powerful pieces that way. All right, so I think I've described that enough. Blendability and lay down ability, whatever that is. And so those are the things that you want to do for colored pencils. Prismacolor, Faber-Castell, Crayola. You'll probably get some good results from those things. Go to Amazon or look for the deals at your local craft store, Michael's or Hobby Lobby, or wherever you find your art supplies. Look for them there. But that's color pencils. That's going to come up in a few weeks from now. So if you want to buy your students a set of 12 color pencils, they'll probably run you about $15 to $20 for a set of color pencils that way. But keep on drawing, keep on coloring, have a great time, and these are some quality things. You'll have a lot of fun with them. Sounds good. See ya. Bye.